Hey guys, how's it going? Alex Scott here with TrueFire.com. Thank you so much for checking out another one of our videos. Now, I was out on a gig last weekend, and I found myself in the green room talking with our guitar player about practice routines, right? And we both agreed on one thing. If you're a guitar player and you're learning to play, one of the most valuable tools in your arsenal is backing tracks, right? Practice tracks, these tracks that have usually bass, drums, sometimes keys or rhythm guitars, but no lead or melody instruments and no vocals, that are designed for you to practice soloing, improvisation, rhythm playing, chord shapes, all these different things, right? They're incredibly useful on your guitar playing journey. However, when it comes to finding really good quality backing tracks, it can be a little bit tricky. Obviously, YouTube is a really popular resource, and there's literally hundreds of thousands of tracks on YouTube, but because it's YouTube, some are super high quality and really professionally produced, some are not so much, so it's a little bit inconsistent. You also, of course, have sites like TrueFire.com. We have a massive selection of backing tracks over there. Check out links in the description. It's a great resource. But what do you do if you can't quite find the right track? If you're looking to practice something really specific and you just can't quite find anything that fits the bill? Or what do you do if you just want your tracks to sound a little bit more like you? Maybe you have a rhythm part that you have figured out on your own or written, and you want to use that for a backing track to practice along to. It's a perfectly valid thing. But where do you even start when it comes to making your own backing tracks? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video, because while it may seem like a bit of an overwhelming prospect at first, it can be one of the most rewarding ways to actually practice playing your instrument while simultaneously expanding your skill set and your knowledge of music production as a whole. So I have 3 solutions for you guys to think about if you are considering learning to produce your own backing tracks. The first one that we're going to talk about is super easy, and it is completely free. It's using a platform called Bandlab. In just a minute, we're going to head into the computer. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to get started with that. It's, again, super easy and completely free. The second option that we're going to talk about is getting into using a DAW, which costs a little bit of money, but not too much, and is also quite easy to do. So we're going to talk about that. And then the third option, we're going to go a little bit deeper into talking about things like sample and loop libraries and plugins. That's even yet a little bit more expensive, but still can be very easy depending on how you approach it. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the computer, and I'm going to show you guys how you can get started producing your very own backing tracks. Let's check it out. All right, guys, we are here in the spaceship, as I like to call it, my lovely little home studio setup, and I have a very, very cool website pulled up here, and this is where we are going to start our little journey of learning how to make our own backing tracks. So this is Bandlab. Now, Bandlab is awesome. Bandlab is a surprisingly full-featured audio production platform. We normally would call these things DAWs, or digital audio workstations. This is how we make music and produce songs using computers. And Bandlab is really unique in that, first of all, it's completely free. It is cross-platform, so not only does it work between Mac and PC, it's actually just based in your web browser. I'm here in my Chrome web browser, so I don't even need to download anything. It runs all online, so it works on Mac, PC, it works on Linux, as far as I know. It also works on mobile devices. It is an app that you can download for Android and for iOS, whether you're on a tablet or a phone. It works pretty much everywhere, which is, again, very unique and very cool. Because it's online, anything you make, you can share with other users. If you have other friends that you're collaborating with, you can share tracks back and forth and work on stuff together. It's all very, very cool. So the other huge selling point with Bandlab is that it has a ton of really high quality loops and samples that are very easy to use and very easy to access right off the bat. So you'll make an account, and this is kind of the first area you'll see, which is your library. I don't have any projects created yet because we are about to start fresh with a new track. So this is the interface of Bandlab, and it is very easy to navigate. It's very, very beginner friendly. I want to show you guys just how quickly you can start making a simple little backing track in whatever style you want. I want to go for something kind of rock-ish. Let's see what we can get done there. So the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to go down here to Bandlab Sounds, right? This is where all of their built-in sample libraries live. We're going to click samples right here. We're going to go filters, and this is going to let us figure out exactly what we want to start working with. So obviously we want to do something kind of rockish. We want to do drums. So I'm going to go drum kit. I'm going to go genre. We're going to go rock here, and we're going to scroll and see there are just countless options here. And you can click on any of these and hear previews, right? And so you can honestly just immediately start running through and finding stuff that sounds good. Okay, so here I found these ones just called Rock Groove that sound really, really nice. Rock Groove 2. Oh yeah, that's nice. A little tight cross stick on the snare, maybe 03, really similar groove, but on the ride, so kind of like a chorus thing. Okay, so I really like those. Let's grab Rock Groove 02. That's gonna be our kind of verse, or our A section. And so I'm just gonna drag it right up here. You can see it makes a track for us and everything. And then let's say I want 16 bars of this groove. So you can see this little circle arrow thing right up here. That lets us loop the whole region, drag it out to 16 bars. And then our Rock Groove 03 is our nice little chorus thing. Let's zoom out here a little bit using this little magnifying glass right here. And let's drag that out to another 16 bars for a total of 32 bars of a tune here. Now this kind of red area, this is called our ruler, we could call this, that shows us where we are in bars in our song. And we're gonna drag that out. This whole thing will now loop, which is a really useful thing for practice tracks, right? Because you don't have to make a whole, if you want to practice for 10 minutes on the same tune, you don't have to make a 10-minute thing. You can just get your A section and your B section, or your verse and your chorus kind of idea, and then set it up to loop. And then we just click play, and it's great. It's also automatically set the tempo for me to where this loop is going to sound best. But of course, I can change that if I want. Let's say that feels a little bit slow. Maybe I want to go up to 110 beats per minute. We can control our tempo right here. Would you like to adjust existing audio regions? Yes, I would. This is why Bandlab is great. It makes everything so easy. Cool. That feels like a better tempo to me. Okay, so we've got our drums. Let's go ahead here and change our filters a little bit. Let's get some rhythm guitars. I could play them, but I mainly want to make this track to practice lead. So let's see if there's anything cool with some rhythm guitars. So we're going to go guitar, loop, and then we do want rock. And then let's just see, like right here, right off the bat, it looks like we have some really cool potential options. Oh, that's a nice little loop right there. And it's got two different variations of it, right? So we've got this one, which is like higher up on the neck, a little tighter, but I really like that progression. It's a cool progression. So we're gonna drag that in there. Do we wanna set the key to D minor? Yeah, absolutely. And now, it's a similar progression, but it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit more intense. So we're gonna set that as our chorus. Same thing with the drums. Drag it, loop it out, drag it, loop it out. Now, another great thing about Bandlab is that when they go to create and include all these different samples for us as users, it's not necessarily just one thing. You can sometimes look at these letters here, JTS, IDX, offense, whatever. There may very well be a bass part that has been recorded that lines up with these chord progressions. So what we can do is go up here and search for JTS_IDX. And boom, oh, look at that, bass guitar. Okay, so let's use our filters again, and let's go bass guitar, and let's see if we can find the up right here. Perfect. So that is a matching bass part to this guitar part. Super easy, and then I'll bet more of a rock and chorus kind of a thing. So it's like somebody has already given us so much great stuff to work with. And then right there off the bat, we've got this set up to loop, we've got our rhythm guitar, we've got our bass, and we've got a drum groove. So I've got my guitar here, I've got a nice tone. going in my DAW. You can also record guitar into Bandlab and monitor yourself and all that stuff. I just really like the amp sounds that I have in my own software. Understandable. If you're a tone guy, you'll know what I'm talking about. But let's jam along to our track here. So boom, it is just that easy, and this is why I recommend Bandlab. In just a couple of minutes flat, there's nowhere to click, and boom, you've got a simple little backing track made, right? It's very, very neat. But obviously, we're also using just like pre-made loops here, right? And that's great in terms of speed and efficiency, but if you want something really specific, like you're trying to practice over a really specific chord progression, that might not be quite what you want. But Bandlab has us covered. So we can very easily, if we just want to get rid of these guitar and bass parts, we'll keep our drum groove because I really like the drum groove. You can also program your own drum grooves, of course. But now I can go to here to add track, and we're going to add a virtual instrument. And this gives us a piano to work with. Of course, it's not just a piano. We have a bunch of different awesome sounds here. So maybe I want to do something a little synthier. Cool, so we've got this nice synth sound here. We can turn on this really cool little tool here called Smart View, and we can tell it, hey, I only want to see the notes in the C major scale. I don't have to worry too much about, music theory or getting all my notes exactly right. And then we can just kind of start clicking in here and writing a really simple little keyboard part. Let's actually go C major, A minor. Just a simple little rhythm here. Cool, that sounds great. Now we want a bass line, right? So we're gonna go to virtual instrument again. And of course we have a whole category here of electric basses. I like this 62 P bass, classic. But instead of sitting there and having to click through all those notes again, here's a fun little trick for you. I can hold the Alt key on my keyboard, and that's going to automatically copy it. You could also do, Control-C, Control-V, or Command-C, Command-V on a Mac to copy and paste this keyboard part down to this bass part. And then let's open this up. And we just don't want our bass to play chords. We only want it to play the root notes. So I'm just going to use our select like this, get rid of those notes, get rid of those notes. So now we're left with just those root notes of the chords. I'm going to drag them all the way down so that they're in the range of a bass guitar. That sounds nice. Okay, now we can grab our little keyboard part here and our little bass part, use this same looping thing, select them both, and let's just go ahead and make these the full length of our little song here. And now we have made our own custom little chord progression that we can jam along to. Let's check it out. That has to be less than 10 minutes. We just made two, not completely different. We reused the drum groove. But we made two different backing tracks, right? One with really great sounding pre-made loops in Bandlab, and then one with our own custom chord progression. Bandlab is really powerful, and it's really, really easy to use. The fact that it's totally free is kind of amazing. But let's say you work in Bandlab for a little while, and you say, this is cool, I dig it, but how do I get a little bit more advanced? Well, that is where a piece of software like Studio One comes in. Now, this is PreSonus Studio One. This is the software that I work in professionally. I do all of my production and scoring and stuff. I'm actually recording my guitar and my vocals in here right now so that you guys can hear me. So, that's why we've got tracks and stuff going on here. But this is, I don't want to dive too deep in this because I could do a whole course of lessons on Studio One just in and of itself. But it is full production software that's going to have a lot more features and be a lot more robust than Bandlab. But that doesn't mean it has to be complicated to use, because when you buy and download Studio One, which is either $200 to buy outright, or you can do a subscription for $20 a month, which comes with a ton of extra content, like a huge, awesome library of loops. Okay, so this is exactly like we saw inside of Bandlab. So we can go in here and go rock, and these are all going to be guitar loops, but it's like just the sheer quantity that you get with the software is truly endless. These are all drum kits for all different kinds of genres. I mean, the amount of content that you get with a program like Studio One is amazing. And so it works much the same way. Like, just because it's a more full-featured and professional program doesn't mean it's necessarily harder to use. There's more features, there's more options, there's more buttons. But you can ultimately just drag in loops and build tracks in exactly the same way that we just looked at in Bandlab. Now, of course, Studio One isn't the only game in town. We also have Logic, which is a very, very popular one for Apple users. Cubase from Steinberg is a great piece of software that's very similar. There's a bunch of DAWs out there, and that's kind of a bit of a journey you'll have to go on your own to figure out exactly which one you want. And then finally, if you want to go even further than that and get the absolute highest quality loops possible, you can go with what we call sample libraries. So I'm going to pull up one example for you here. This is a piece of software called Superior Drummer, and I use this all the time. This is made by a company called TuneTrack, and TuneTrack has a whole suite of instruments, plug-in instruments. So these are separate little pieces of software that you buy and download and install into your recording software. Superior Drummer is what I use for drums. They also make a version called Easy Drummer that's a little bit less expensive, but still very, very full-featured. And you can build your whole own custom drum kit with these are all different snare drums that I can choose from and cymbals and stuff. But what's really amazing about it is grooves. So these are all different drum loops, okay, that I can just grab and throw into my session. You know, any style you could possibly imagine. We've got blues, disco, funk, jazz, Latin, metal, soul. I mean, it is truly endless. And these are all actually played by real drummers on these real, amazing sampled drum kits. TuneTrack also makes Easy Keys, which is the same thing, but with keyboard sounds and loops. They make Easy Bass, but with bass sounds and loops. So if you really want to go like all in on making backing tracks, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to be working with. This stuff is also really popular with commercial music producers. So like guys who do work for television, guys who do work for video games, like myself. I use these kinds of libraries when I'm on a really tight deadline and I just need a great drum groove and I need it super fast. But they're very, very easy to use. You don't have to know how to play drums. You don't even have to have like a MIDI keyboard or anything fancy like that. You can literally just open this up, start, tinkering around and looking for grooves that you think sound good and drag them into your session. So obviously, again, this is much more advanced and much more feature rich and much more expensive. Superior Drummer is like $500 on its own. So it's not something you're going to be worried about as a beginner. But I just want to give you guys a glimpse into kind of where you can end up with and the kinds of cool tools and toys that you get to play with the more you get into producing your own practice tracks. Okay, guys, so there you go. We took a look at Bandlab and using those built-in loops and samples to get started. We took a look at virtual instruments inside of Bandlab, how to build parts that are more specific to the tune that you're trying to make. Then we talked about DAWs, built-in loops with those DAWs, and then, of course, we talked about those incredible sample libraries that can let you get as granular as you want when it comes to producing your own tracks. So there's a ton of stuff for you guys to think about. But what I would recommend if you are a beginner and you're coming in all this from the first time, definitely just start with Bandlab, right? Because it's easy, it's free, you can go sign up for it right now. It's Mac, it's PC, it's any device, and it has a lot of great built-in loops. That's the one area where it is a little bit limited, but it's still gonna get you started and you can make your first 5, 10, 20, however many tracks, get used to the workflow and the process of putting this stuff together. And it's gonna tell you whether or not you enjoy doing it, and that's really kind of the most important thing, because depending on your answer to that question, whether or not you enjoy it, that's going to inform you on kind of where to go next, right? Is this something you want to invest a little bit of money in? Is this something you want to get serious about and really spend time doing? And that is where it gets a little bit bigger. We've talked this whole time specifically about making backing tracks for you to practice guitar to, and that's great. But what you'll be doing simultaneously is actually learning music production, like real deal music, like what I do for a living. And this opens up countless doors into new avenues of creativity for you as a musician. You can, do a lot more with your songwriting. If you play in a band, you can start thinking about recording and demoing your band's songs. And you might find some part of the process like learning to play a little bit of keyboards or programming drums or doing the kind of mixing and mastering side of things. All of these things might capture your attention and you go, wow, I really like this. This is really, really fun. And you'll have the tools and kind of the platform to go a lot further into that. So start in Bandlab, get your toes a little bit wet, see how you feel about the process. And then from there, you can really figure out how deep you want to go. So with all that being said, I hope you guys found this video interesting or useful in some way, and I hope you do go along to start producing some of your own backing tracks. It's super fun. I certainly enjoy doing it. I've done a ton of it over the years. Highly recommended. But if you are just looking for kind of a one and done resource, if you've watched this whole thing and said, ugh, way too much work for me, head over to TrueFire.com. Like I said at the beginning, we have a gargantuan library of backing tracks in every style imaginable: rock, country, jazz, blues, pop. There's also, of course, tons and tons and tons of great courses over on TrueFire from really great guitar players. We have courses about production and mixing and mastering. We offer courses for individual purpose, and we also offer a great value in our all-access membership, where you can access anything on the site for one low monthly cost. So links in the description, definitely go check it out. But in any case, my name is Alex Scott. Thank you again so much for checking out this video. I hope you had a good time. And be sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. All the YouTube-y stuff really helps us get the videos out there to more guitar players just like yourself. So thanks again for watching, and we will see you in the next one.